Hello students, how are you? Student, yesterday I explained fifth part of the lesson, Ivan's rise and O level. In that part, I was telling you when Governor asked Jackson and Stephens who one of them had seen McClary of the main gates of prison. After listening Governor's words, Stephens was telling him that he had seen McClary of or Evans of, you can say McClary of, not impersonality McClary of or Evans of the main gates of prison. And he further told him he did that because governor instructed him on phone to see impersonating McClary or Evans of the main prison gates. After listening Stephen's word, governor became more angry and he asked him what rubbish he was telling him. Now I am going to explain sixth part of the lesson. You know, sir, about 20 past 11 just before. When governor asked Stephens what rubbish he was telling him, that he had given him instruction to see McClary, to see impersonating McClary or Evans of the main prison gates. Then Stephens told him that governor had given him instruction on phone on 11:20 a.m. or just before. After listening Stephen's word, governor became angry again and addressed him as hateful idiot, blithering idiot. You blithering idiot, man, it was not me who rang you. Don't you realize? But what was the use? He had used the telephone at that time, but only to try unsuccessfully once more to get through to the examination board. After listening Stephen's word, governor told him by addressing him as hateful idiot that he had not given him any instruction at that time at 11:20, and governor also asked him if he could not recognize his voice. But after governor realized that there was no use of talking like that because Evans had already escaped, and he remembered that at 11:20 he himself dialed the number of education board, but he found a busy tone. He shook his head in growing despair and turned on the senior prison officer. As for you, Jackson, how long have you been pretending you have got a brain? Well, I will tell you something, Jackson. Your skull is empty, absolutely empty. After that, governor shook his head in disappointment and turned to the senior prison officer Jackson and asked him, why, from what time, from how many days he had been pretending to be wise. Governor wanted to say that Jackson, who was considering himself a wise prison officer, he was not wise even. Well, I will tell you something, Jackson, and he further told Jackson that his skull is empty. He did not have any brain inside his skull. But even after that, he considered himself as intelligent and wise prison officer. It was Jackson who had spent 2 hours in Ivan's cell the previous evening, and it was Jackson who had confidently reported that there was nothing hidden away there, nothing at all. Gunnar was thinking that it was Jackson who spent 2 hours in Ivan's cell for searching his cell. If he had not hidden anything inside his cell. But even after that, Evans got success. Even after that, Evans got success in hiding false beard, spectacles, a dog collar, and clerical materials. Not only he got success in hiding these things, but he also got success in hiding a sharp weapon in his cell, by which he injured Stuart McLeary. Gunnar was thinking that it was Jackson who searched Ivan's cell, and for that he spent 2 hours the previous evening in his cell in order to make himself sure if Evans could not get success in hiding anything in his cell. But even after that, even Evans not only got success in hiding dog collar, clerical materials, false beard, and perhaps spectacles, but some kind of weapon by which he injured Stuart McLeary. This is dog collar. Dog collar is the stiff round called white collar which is put on the neck. A prison van backed alongside, but the governor made no immediate move. He looked down again at the last line of the German. While governor was talking with Jackson and Stephens, a German question paper was in governor's hand. That time, a prison van reached behind them and was parked there. Governor did not look at that prison van because that time he was looking down at the last lines of the German text. Because a German question paper was in his hand, and when prison van reached behind him and was parked there, governor did not look at the prison van because that time he was looking down at the last lines of German text in order to make himself understand what was written in German language. To the Headington roundabout, where you go straight over and make your way to the New Graben, New Graben. It was written in German text, which governor had got success in decoding it into English language. It was written, it was the instruction for Evans that after reaching, it was instruction for Evans that from escaping from his cell, he had to go to Headington roundabout. And after reaching Headington roundabout, from there, he had to move towards New Graben. When governor read the word New Graben, then he started thinking, where on earth new something, new grave? And governor was thinking, he had never heard about the place New Graben because New Graben was not the place in Carafax or in London. He started thinking, and he started thinking if it would be New Grave, War Grave, because New Grave and War Grave were the places which are situated in Carafax in London, but there was no place in the name of New Graben. Somewhere near Reading, and these places, War Grave, New Grave, were located near Reading. Reading was also the place. No, it was probably code word. And then it hit him, Newbury. God, yes, Newbury was a pretty big sort of place. But after that, he started thinking about the place, which place could be. And the code of that place is written in form of New Graben. Then at last, he got success about thinking the right place. And he came to know that the name of the place was Newbury, and New Graben was the code word for Newbury, and Evans would have gone to Newbury. He rapped his order to the driver, send Eldred police station and step on it, take Jackson and Stephens there, and when you get there, ask for Bell. Chief Inspector Bell got that. After getting success in thinking about the place Newbury where Evans would have gone, he gave his order loudly to the driver of prison van, which had been parked just behind him. He gave the order to the driver of the van to go to St. Eldad police station along with Jackson and Stephens. And after reaching there, after reaching St. Eldad police station, they had to meet Chief Inspector Bell. Who they had to meet? Van driver, Jackson and Stephens. They had to meet Chief Inspector Bell. And after that, after meeting him, they had to give information to Chief Inspector Bell about Evans' escape. He leaped the stairs to his office 3 at a time, got Bell on phone immediately and put the facts before him. After giving orders, he himself jumped the stairs and reached his office. After giving orders, he himself ascended the stairs three at a time, ascend the stairs. While ascending the stairs, he ascended 3 steps at a time and reached his office. After reaching his office, he dialed the number of Chief Inspector Bell and gave all the information regarding Ivan's escape to him. We will get him, sir, said Bell. We will get him with a bit of luck. And after listening Governor's words, Inspector Bell assured the Governor that they would catch, so he would catch along with his team. It means they would catch. They would catch Evans within a short time if they were lucky. The Governor sat back and lit a cigarette. Ye gods, what a beautifully laid plan it had been. What a clever fellow Evans was, careless, leaving that question paper behind, but then they all made their mistakes somewhere along the line, well, almost all of them, and that is why very shortly Mr. Clever Evans would be back inside doing his once more. After informing Chief Inspector Bell regarding Evans' escape, Governor sat on his chair and lit a cigarette, and he was thinking that about beautifully laid plan, about a nice plan, about Evans' nice plan, because of which he got success in escaping from heavily guarded cell. And Governor was also thinking that Evans was careless because he left the question paper behind him. Students, Evans was not careless. Evans left the question paper behind him because of misguiding Governor and other prison officers so that nobody could catch him. And Governor also was thinking that Evans' friends who were involved in his escape, they all had made mistakes. Because of that, very clever Evans who was considering himself clever, would be in his cell in a short period of, because of those mistakes, Evans, who was considering himself very clever, would be in his cell shortly. The phone on his desk erupted in a strident burst, and Superintendent Carter informed him that McCleary had spotted Evans driving off along Elsfield Way. While Governor was thinking about that, the phone on his desk started ringing loudly. And when he raised the receiver, then he heard the voice of Detective Superintendent Carter, who took impersonating Stuart McCleary to admit to Redcliffe Hospital. Okay. Superintendent Carter called Governor on phones for informing him that McCleary had recognized Evans' car. And after that, when McCleary recognized Evans' car, after that, both of them chased Evans. Chased Evans and they came to know that Evans was moving to Elsfield Way, and they had also, Mr. Carter told governor that he and McCleary also had detained the number of Evans' car. And after chasing that car up to Headington roundabout, when the car reached Headington roundabout, they saw that Evans' car reached to Headington roundabout. While they were chasing his car, then they saw that Evans' car reached Headington roundabout, and after that it had been disappeared from there. That is why they could not get success in catching Evans. He must have doubled back into the city. And Carter further told governor that he had a doubt if Evans would return to the city. Again, no, said the governor quietly. No, he is on his way to Newbury. He explained his reasons for believing. Oh, so, and left it at that. It was the police job now, not his. He was just another good for a gullible governor, that was all. When Carter informed governor that while he was chasing his car, then after reaching Headington roundabout, his car was disappeared. That is why he could not chase. And he expressed a doubt that that car would return to the city again. Because he wanted to say, when Evans' car would return to the city again, then he would catch him. But governor told Carter that Evans did not return to the city. And he would have gone to Newbury. And he gave the reason, and he told the reason behind that to Detective Superintendent Carter. What was the reason, you know? The reason was that he told Detective Superintendent Carter that he had decoded the word New Graben, which was written in place of Newbury, because New Graben was not the place. That is why it was the code word for Newbury. That is why he was saying that Evans would have gone to Newbury. And so left it that it was the police job. And after that, governor told Detective Superintendent Carter after that governor instructed Detective Superintendent Carter not to chase Evans, because it was the police job. Police had to catch Evans. After giving that instruction to Carter that he should not chase Evans because it was police job, then he had become the laughing stock for others, because of being over trustful and overconfident. If Carter If Carter chased, if Carter would chase Ivan's car continuously and would wait for his return to the city, then he would have caught him. But governor instructed him to leave chasing Evans. It was the police job. That is why governor had become the laughing stock for others. By the way, Carter, I hope you managed to get McClary to the hospital. After that, governor asked Carter that he hoped if he would have admitted McClary to the hospital all right. Yes, he is in the Redcliffe now. Then Carter told governor that Stuart McClary was in Redcliffe Hospital that time. Really groggy he was when we got to the examination offices, and they rang for the ambulance from there. And Carter also told governor that when he reached to examination board along with Evans, that time he was looking very weak and he could not even walk properly. When they reached examination board, then one of the employees of examination board dialed the number of Redcliffe Hospital in order to make a request to send an ambulance to carry a patient to the hospital. Means Carter, Deputy Superintendent Carter, did not admit Stuart McClary or impersonating Stuart McClary to Redcliffe Hospital. He handed over Evans to one of the employees of examination board, and that employee called ambulance from Redcliffe Hospital. Okay. He was also stupid. He was detective. That is why he should have admitted Evans himself to Redcliffe Hospital. Okay. But he showed his trust the employees of examination board. The governor rang the Redcliffe a few minutes later and asked for the accident department. After that, after being informed by Carter regarding admission of Stuart McClary to the Redcliffe Hospital, governor himself dialed the number of accidental department of Redcliffe Hospital in order to make him sure if McClary was in the hospital or not. McClary, you say, when he asked the employee of accidental department of Redcliffe Hospital that if there was a person in the name of McClary in accidental department, then that employee asked him, McClary? Yes, he is a person. Then governor told him, yes, his name is McClary and he was a priest. Don't think there is anyone. Then that employee of Central Department of Redcliffe Hospital told the governor that there was no one in his hospital in the name of Stuart McClary. Yes, there is. Then governor told him with emphasis. Yes, there should be a person in his hospital whose name was McClary. You will find one of your ambulances picked him up and else will way about. And governor further told that employee that he should find one of the ambulances which which took McClary to the hospital from Elsfield Way. Oh, that. Yes, we sent an ambulance, all right, but when we got there, the fellow had gone. No one seemed to know where he was, just vanished, not a sign. When governor told him about the ambulance, that ambulance was sent to Elsfield Way in order to carry a patient from there, then that employee recalled, remembered, and told governor, yes, an ambulance was sent to Elsfield Way. But when ambulance reached there, then the person, that fellow, that patient or Stuart McClary about which governor was talking had already gone from there. And no one knew about that where he would have gone. Just vanished, just disappeared from the place. So it means, students, it is sure that somebody in the examination board was also involved in Ivan's escape. But the governor was no longer listening, and the truth seemed to hit him with an almost physical impact somewhere in the back of neck. When that employee of the dental department in Radcliffe Hospital told about that, informed governor about that when ambulance reached Elsfield Way, then the person, Stuart McClary, had gone from there. He was just vanished from there. Then after that governor did not listen his words, and he came to know what was the truth behind that. He understood very well that somebody in the examination board would have involved in Ivan's escape. That was the truth. A quarter of an hour. And he also came to know that he was not Stuart McClary. Because Stuart McClary he was not Stuart McClary, and he was not even injured. Because an injured person could not escape. After that, a quarter of an hour later, they found the Reverend Stuart McClary securely bound and gagged in the study in Broad Street. After that, when governor was sure that it was not McClary who was sent to Radcliffe Hospital along with Carter, then he sent some police officers, to McClary's house, to real Stuart McClary's house, in order to know if real McClary was in his house or not. When the police officers reached there, in real Stuart McClary's house, which was in Broad Street, then they found that real Stuart McClary was tied and gagged and locked. There Stuart McClary was locked in his study room after being tied and gagged. And he was there since 8:15 a.m. when two men had called out. At 15 a.m. when two men reached his house in Broad Street. Who were two men? Those two men were Ivan's friends. When those two men reached real Stuart McClary's house in Broad Street, then McClary opened the door. After that, men entered his room, and then they tied and gagged him. After tying and gagging him, those men locked him in his study room. After that, and they also took Stuart McClary's clothes, and one of them reached Oxford prison in his appearance. Inquiries in Newbury throughout the afternoon produced nothing, and after that, governor sent police officers to Newbury in order to search Evans, because he was considering Evans would have gone to Newbury, but nothing was found. And by tea time, everyone in the prison knew what had happened. It had not been Evans impersonating McClary who had walked out. It had been Evans impersonating McClary who had stayed in. By the tea time, everyone in the prison knew what had happened. Everyone knew that it had not been Evans. It had not been Evans, but it was impersonating McClary who went out of the prison gate along with Stephens. But it had been Evans impersonating McClary who had stayed in. Clear? Means everybody came to know that the person who went out of the main prison gate along with Stephens was impersonating McClary. He was not McClary, and he was not Evans impersonating McClary, but he was another person impersonating McClary. Okay, he was not McClary, he was not Evans impersonating McClary, but he was any other person impersonating McClary in the appearance of McClary who went out of the main prison gate along with Stephens. But the person who stayed in the cell, he was Evans impersonating McClary. He was Evans impersonating McClary. The person who went out of the prison gate after the finishing of the exam, he was another person impersonating McClary, another person in the appearance of McClary. But who stayed inside? Who stayed in the cell? He was Evans in the appearance of Stuart McClary. Clear? How they came to know? Because they found Real McClary locked after being tied and gagged in his study room. That is why they came to know that the person who was invigilating the examination in Evans' cell, he was not Stuart McClary. He was impersonating Stuart McClary, and he went outside main prison gates after the finishing of the exam. But who stayed in the cell? He was actually Evans in the appearance of Stuart McClary, or impersonating Stuart McClary. Clear? Now after that, the fish and chips were delicious, and after a gentle stroll round the center of shipping Norton, Ivan decided to return to the hotel and have an early night. Students, after escaping from the prison, Ivan reached Chipping Norton. Okay, after that, Ivan reached Chipping Norton and stayed in the hotel. The name of the hotel was Zum Golden Lion, because Zum Golden, there were many Zum Golden Lions hotel in Carafax. Okay, and one of them is located in Chipping Norton. Clear? And other Golden Lion also was located in Newbury. Clear? Evans stayed in the Golden Lion, Zum Golden Lion Hotel in Chipping Norton, and after that, after staying in that hotel, and in the evening, he went to take his dinner. After taking dinner, he was returning to the hotel because he wanted to sleep early that night. A smart new had concealed the wreckage of his closely cropped hair, and his closely cropped hair were hidden with the help of his hat which he was wearing that time, and closely cropped hair. Students, how Evans got success in cutting his hair? देखो, when he was being searched by Jackson, and Jackson instructed Stephens to take his razor from him after finishing his shave, then he did not give that razor to Stephens, or he would have given that razor to Stephens, but one razor he had with him, and with the help of that razor, because Jackson had taken his scissor from him, that is why with that razor he cut his hair. Because you know why he cut his hair? Because he wanted to cut his hair in the style of Stuart McLary's hair, so that nobody would recognize him. Clear? That is why his closely cropped hair was hidden behind his new hat, and he kept it on as he walked up to the reception desk of the Golden Lion, and he put that hat on his head. While he kept his hat on his head on his head as he walked up to the reception desk of the Golden Lion Hotel. He did not remove his hat from his head. You know why? If he had removed his hat from his head, then he could be detected. Okay, because Stuart McLary was found in his study room. That is why he could be detected. Evans could be detected and caught. That is why he had not removed his hat from his head while going to the reception desk of Golden Lion Hotel. Now students, I think I have explained too much. Remaining part of the lesson I will explain tomorrow. Thank you and have a nice day.